Welcome to the Rink Report, which is being brought to you by Telhio Credit Union. I'm Bob McElligott, along with Jody, Shelley, and the Blue Jackets are getting set for their home opener, taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning at Nationwide Arena. Blue Jackets started on the road. They finished with a record of 1-2-1. And Jody, even though they went into Nashville and dropped the first two, they were close games. Well, the second one was close until the third period. But they went into Detroit. And yes, they lost an overtime game in the second game of that series, but they got 3 out of 4 points. They're still looking to put it together offensively, and now they've got to do it against the defending Stanley Cup champs here tonight. But what have you thought of the first 4 games?
You know what? Anytime they lose, you're disappointed, right? As a fan, and as a group that's watching this team grow. But as I look at the first 4 games to end in Detroit with 3 out of 4 points, I'm okay with that because there's more to be done. There's an identity. We hear that a lot, but there's a way they play that they're hard to play against. And they have to remember that is what they rely on for success. Forget about scoring goals. Forget about all that. That will happen. But this team right now needs to just get back to that Blue Jackets brand of hockey. And the Tampa Bay Lightning coming to town is at a perfect time. They get your full attention. They're a team that's you got to be sharp and simple to beat if you want to have a chance. And the Blue Jackets need that brand right now. So the 5th and 6th game in, they're playing the perfect opponent because they've got to be more than ready. They can't wade into any of these games, and they've got to play that complete team game that we're used to.
I think 2 guys that have been playing that Blue Jackets hockey you're talking about right away, Boone Jenner and Alexander Texier. At one point, they were on the same line. Because of the offensive struggles, they've been mixed around, but they have both been consistent. Boone has 2 goals in the first 4 games. Texier also, he's been in there. He's scoring goals. He's doing all the little things. Really, if everybody else follows the example of those 2, everything will be fine, won't it?
2 guys that drive it. When they're on the ice, you understand they leave a trail behind them of wreckage because both of them just pursue pucks. They back check. They're hard. They're competitive. And they're both these guys are doing well with points. Boone's got 2 goals. Texier's got 3 goals. This is great to start the season that these 2 guys are playing that brand of hockey. So I agree with you. They've found a bit of their game, but what they've done is they never get away from their game. They're always hard strides on pucks. They're always hard strides when they're on the ice. When they're competing in face-offs or battles, their sticks are strong and competitive. So, yes, that's the brand of hockey that every single one of these guys needs to play throughout a game, especially against Tampa.
And Tampa, the defending Stanley Cup champs. And when you look at their roster, there were expected to be some big changes because of their salary cap concerns. Yeah, they had to make some tweaks, and they had to do some things. But when you look at what they have, you see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of the same names. Now, Nikita Kucherov has been put on long-term injured reserve. He's not going to play during the regular season, and he was, their biggest offensive threat. But a guy that has been in the history of this team the last number of years, their biggest offensive threat, hasn't played much in the last few seasons, and that is their captain, Steven Stamkos. But this guy is back, and he's playing well.
Now look out. He's leading all those offensive categories, much like you would think he would. But you're right. He's the leader of the team. He got to hoist the Stanley Cup. He scored a goal in 1 period and 1 shift of last year's finals, and that was enough to put a big smile on his face to contribute to that victory. So he's Mr. Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, so is Victor Hedman, which is very much the same, and Vasilevsky, the best goaltender in the world, as he got the trophy last year for the Vezina. Or he got it 2 years ago for the Vezina, excuse me. He is the guy. This is down the middle of the ice. These 3 guys, and Vasilevsky is the guy that provides the leadership in the net. And Hedman, the leadership from the blue line. And then Stamkos finally back and healthy. He's a weapon. So listen, a lot or a little is different, but a lot is the same. And I feel like in this shortened season, this team out of the gate already, I feel like they have more to prove and they want to taste that cup again. So perfect setup for game number 5 and 6 for the Columbus Blue Jackets because they need urgency and they don't have to fabricate or wonder if it's going to be an interesting game. They know the history. They know they have to play well, and this is exactly what they need.
Normally, when you talk about playing at home, you're talking about playing in front of a big opening night crowd, and none of that is going to happen. But do you think for the Blue Jackets, who were on the road for 6 days and 4 games to start the season, this might be a nice refresher too? Day off yesterday, so they could just kind of get a breath and get back at it. Now they're home. They actually get to go to their homes, and they get to go to the rink, and they can go to the store. They can do what they want. They're limited on the road. They'll be less limited at home. They'll be more relaxed. And even though the fans aren't there, with this challenge of the Stanley Cup champs, do you see this team in some ways relaxing, maybe stop gripping the sticks as much?
Yeah, I think it's all new for the teams that go on the road this year. It's all new, especially out of the gate. They didn't want to go in the bubble, but they're in restricted access, restricted areas as they do travel. They're not allowed out of their hotel. They're not allowed to go out and have dinner. They're not allowed to go watch movies. They're restricted to their room. So I think the adjustment there, I think the adjustment to being in Nashville on a Saturday night in a slow building, a dead building, takes a little bit from the urgency. I think it's nice to be home after this trip. It's nice to be back and kind of feeling normal. And now as they prepare today and a day off for tomorrow, I think things will ramp up. So, yeah, I love the whole scenario. There's a lot that goes into these games. There's always been a lot that goes into a National Hockey League game day. But when you're dealing with a pandemic and no fans and how do I feel and what do I act like and what's the game against Nashville or Detroit going to be like, it's different. With Tampa at home, there's a lot that's the same. You're going to miss the fans, but you're going to have them in your building and you're desperate for a win. So I think that the whole home aspect, being able to cook a meal, I think that's important.
And the Blue Jackets know the Tampa Bay Lightning better than most other teams after the matchups they've had against them in the postseason the last 2 years. The puck will drop at 7 o'clock at Nationwide Arena. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30 on both the Blue Jackets radio network and 97.1 The Fan in Columbus, the flagship station, and on Fox Sports Ohio. That's where you'll be able to find the Blue Jackets and the Tampa Bay Lightning as they meet for the first time this year. That's going to do it for today's Rink Report. It's been brought to you by Telhio Credit Union. For Jody, Shelley, I'm Bob McElligott. Enjoy the game.